The dumpster lid creaked open under Penelope's trembling hands, the stench of rotting food and discarded secrets assaulting her senses as she rifled through the bags. It was midnight in the alley behind Layla's campaign headquarters, and Penelope's heart pounded with a mix of desperation and fury, until a flashlight beam pierced the darkness, illuminating her face. "Penelope? What the hell are you doing?" Layla's voice, now polished with the authority of Los Angeles's mayor, cut through the night like a knife, freezing Penelope in place as years of buried pain resurfaced in an instant. Penelope's mind raced back to that fateful college night in UCLA's dorms, where she and Layla had first confessed their love under whispered breaths and stolen kisses. They were inseparable then, two young women navigating the thrill of discovery amid lectures on political science and late-night debates about changing the world. But Layla's ambitions had always loomed larger than their relationship. She dreamed of public office, of breaking barriers as a Latina woman in politics. Penelope, with her artistic soul and freelance photography gigs, had supported her endlessly, believing their love could withstand anything. Yet, as graduation approached, Layla's family, strict Catholic immigrants from Mexico, began pressuring her to marry a suitable man, to uphold traditions that left no room for their truth. Penelope remembered the arguments, the tears. "I can't lose everything for us," Layla had said, her voice cracking. "My career, my family, they'd disown me." Penelope had begged her to fight, but Layla chose silence, ending things with a cold email that read like a political statement. "We need to move on for our futures." Now, 5 years later, Penelope stood caught in the act, her gloves smeared with grime as she clutched a crumpled envelope from the trash. It wasn't random scavenging. She had been tipped off by an anonymous source about Layla's hidden dealings, campaign funds funneled through shady channels to silence past lovers, including perhaps her own story. Penelope's life had spiraled since their breakup. Lost jobs, mounting debts from her mother's medical bills, and the constant whisper of societal judgment in a city that preached progress but punished the vulnerable. "You think you can just erase me?" Penelope spat, her voice low and venomous, dropping the envelope back into the bin. Layla, dressed in a tailored suit that screamed power, stepped closer, her security detail hovering at the alley's entrance. "This isn't about us anymore, Pen. You're trespassing. I could have you arrested." The words hung heavy, a stark reminder of how far Layla had climbed, and how low Penelope had fallen. Inside, Penelope's thoughts churned like a storm. How had it come to this? She had loved Layla with a fierceness that bordered on obsession, sacrificing her own dreams to fuel hers. But betrayal had a way of twisting love into something darker. Penelope recalled the nights after the breakup, lying awake in her tiny apartment, questioning every decision. Was it wrong to love someone who couldn't love her back publicly? Society's gaze had always been harsh on women like them, lesbians navigating a world of hidden glances and whispered slurs. Her own family, conservative Midwestern transplants, had never fully accepted her orientation, calling it a phase that would pass if she just tried harder. The pressure had built walls around her heart, but Layla had breached them, only to rebuild them stronger with her abandonment. Layla's eyes softened for a fraction, a flicker of the old vulnerability Penelope once cherished. "Why are you here, really? After all this time?" Penelope hesitated, her inner monologue screaming for honesty. She could walk away, pretend this was a mistake, but the envelope burned in her memory. It contained receipts for hush money paid to a former aide who knew too much about Layla's personal life. Exposing it could ruin Layla's re-election campaign, but it might also validate Penelope's pain, force the world to see the hypocrisy of a mayor who championed LGBTQ rights publicly while hiding her own history. "You owe me the truth," Penelope finally said, her voice steadying. "About us. About everything you've buried to get where you are." Layla glanced at her guards, signaling them to stay back. "Fine. But not here. My office. Now." They walked in tense silence to the nearby building, the city's lights blurring past like judgmental eyes. Penelope's mind whirled with doubts. Was this revenge or justice? She thought of the countless women like her, silenced by powerful figures who used their influence to maintain facades. Layla's rise had been meteoric, council member, then mayor, fueled by progressive policies that won over liberal voters. But Penelope knew the cost. Layla had married a man, a political ally, in a lavish ceremony splashed across tabloids. It was a sham, Penelope was sure, but it had solidified her image as a family-oriented leader. Entering the opulent office, Layla poured 2 glasses of scotch, her hand steady despite the tremor in her voice. "You look tired, Pen." Penelope ignored the pity. "Cut the crap. I know about the payments. To keep people quiet about your indiscretions." Layla's face hardened. "You don't understand the game. In politics, one wrong move and it's over. My family, they'd never forgive me." The conversation escalated, voices rising as old wounds reopened. Penelope accused Layla of selling out, of betraying not just her but the community she claimed to represent. "You stand on stages waving rainbow flags, but you left me in the shadows." Layla countered, her inner conflict evident in her clenched fists. She had wrestled with guilt for years, the moral dilemma of ambition versus authenticity gnawing at her. Coming out could cost her everything: voters, donors, her parents' love. "I did what I had to. For us, for change. Real change comes from inside the system." But Penelope saw through it. It was fear, pure and simple. As the argument peaked, Penelope's phone buzzed with a text from her source. More evidence incoming. She had a choice. Expose Layla now or give her a chance to confess. The tension coiled tighter, each woman facing the precipice of their shared past. Layla paced her office, the weight of her title feeling like chains as Penelope sat rigidly on the leather couch, eyes boring into her. "You think it's easy?" Layla exploded, her composed facade cracking. "My parents sacrificed everything to get me here. Fleeing poverty, building a life in L. If I come out, it's not just my career. It's their dreams shattered." Penelope's heart twisted. She knew the immigrant story all too well from Layla's late-night confessions during their college days. But sympathy warred with anger. Inside, Penelope grappled with her own demons. The societal pressure to conform, the family dinners where her orientation was the elephant in the room, her mother's subtle hints about finding a nice man. It had driven her to isolation, to this desperate act in the alley. "You married him to hide," Penelope pressed, referring to Layla's husband, a bland but influential businessman. "A beard. How ethical is that?" Layla stopped pacing, her mind flashing to the wedding day. Smiles for cameras, vows that felt like lies. The moral quandary had haunted her. Deceiving her spouse, her voters, herself. But power demanded sacrifices, and she had convinced herself it was for the greater good. Pushing policies for affordable housing, LGBTQ protections, even if her personal life was a facade. "It's complicated, Pen. He's in on it. It's an arrangement. We both get what we need." Penelope recoiled, the revelation a fresh stab. "So you're using him too? God, who are you anymore?" The door knocked softly, and Layla's aide entered with coffee, oblivious to the storm brewing. As he left, Penelope's thoughts raced. This could be her moment to walk away, but the envelope's contents pulled her back. She pulled out her phone, showing a photo of the receipts she'd snapped before being caught. "This is proof. Payments to silence exes, including that woman from your staff. If I leak this..." Layla's face paled, her inner turmoil erupting. She had made those choices in panic, early in her career, when a leaked photo of her with a woman could derail everything. The ethical tightrope she walked, protecting her position to enact change versus living authentically, had left her exhausted. "Please don't. I've done good here. Crime rates down, shelters for queer youth. Isn't that worth something?" Penelope hesitated, her own moral compass spinning. Exposing Layla would validate her pain, but at what cost? The community might suffer if a conservative opponent won the next election. Society's double standards loomed large. Straight politicians weathered scandals, but for a lesbian in hiding, it was unforgivable. Her family had disowned a cousin for coming out, reinforcing the fear that love like theirs was a liability. "Worth my silence? You broke me, Layla. I lost everything after you left. Friends who took your side, jobs where whispers followed me." Tears welled in Layla's eyes, a rare vulnerability. "I never stopped loving you, but I couldn't drag you down with me." The admission hung in the air, reigniting sparks of their old connection. Penelope's mind flooded with memories. Stolen weekends in Malibu, dreams of a future together. But betrayal had poisoned it. "Love? You chose power over us." They argued deeper into the night, dissecting the societal pressures that forced such choices. Layla confessed her parents' ultimatum. Marry or be cut off. Penelope shared her own battles, therapy sessions grappling with internalized homophobia, the constant fight against stereotypes that painted lesbians as unstable. The conversation turned to confrontation. You're a hypocrite, Penelope accused. Preaching equality while living a lie. Layla fired back. And you're vengeful, willing to destroy progress for personal grudge. As dawn crept in, Penelope made a decision that would alter everything. She agreed to a truce for now, but demanded Layla confront her family. Tell them about us or I walk out with this evidence. Layla's heart sank. The thought terrified her. Her parents' love was conditional, tied to their vision of success. But refusing meant losing Penelope again, perhaps forever. She nodded, the weight of the bargain settling like lead. Little did she know, Penelope's source was already moving, sending files to a journalist friend. The betrayal was mutual, born of hurt and desperation. Penelope's inner voice whispered justification. This isn't revenge, it's awakening. But doubt lingered. Was she becoming the monster she accused Layla of being? The day unfolded in a blur. Layla called a family meeting, her stomach in knots. Penelope waited in a nearby cafe, her thoughts a whirlwind of anticipation and guilt. What if this backfired? Exposing family secrets could shatter bonds irreparably. Society often forgave men their indiscretions but scrutinized women, especially queer ones, under a harsher lens. As Layla drove to her parents' modest home in East LA, she rehearsed the words, "Mom, Dad, I'm gay. And I loved a woman once, still do." The moral dilemma clawed at her. Honesty versus protection. Arriving, she faced their expectant faces, the air thick with unspoken expectations. Layla's parents sat in their cozy living room, surrounded by photos of family milestones, graduations, weddings, none hinting at the truth she carried. "Mija, what's wrong?" her mother asked, concern etching her face. Layla's husband was absent, as always, their marriage a distant arrangement. Taking a deep breath, Layla plunged in. "I need to tell you something about me. About why my marriage isn't real." Her father's brow furrowed, the immigrant pride in his eyes flickering with confusion. Inside, Layla battled waves of fear. This confession could end the fragile peace she'd built. But Penelope's ultimatum echoed, truth or exposure. As words tumbled out, her love for women, the hidden relationship with Penelope, her mother's face crumpled. "No, Layla. That's not you. It's a sin." The words stung. Rooted in their devout faith and cultural norms that viewed homosexuality as a Western corruption. Layla's mind screamed in protest. How could love be wrong? She'd seen the hypocrisy in politics, where allies turned foes over personal lives. "I fought for our community for rights. But I hid to protect you." Her father stood, anger boiling. "Protect us? You've lied. What will the neighbors say? Our church?" The confrontation escalated, voices overlapping in a cacophony of hurt. Layla felt the weight of generational trauma. The sacrifices her parents made crossing borders, only for their daughter to betray their values. Meanwhile, Penelope paced the cafe, her phone heavy with unsent messages. Guilt gnawed at her. Pushing Layla into this could destroy her family ties. Her own parents had reacted similarly when she came out, with disappointed sighs and Bible quotes. Society's lens amplified the shame, painting queer love as disruptive. But Penelope's inner resolve hardened. Silence perpetuated the cycle. She thought of the muzzled voices in the community, women like them crushed under expectations. A text from her journalist friend arrived. "Files ready. Publish." Penelope's finger hovered, the moral fork in the road stark. Expose for justice, or withhold for mercy. Back at the house, the argument peaked. Layla's mother wept. "We raised you better. Think of your career, the mayor can't be that." Layla countered. "I am that. And I'm a good mayor because of it." But the damage was done. Her father stormed out, slamming the door. Alone with her mother, Layla's vulnerability surfaced. "I loved her, Mom. Penelope. She made me feel alive." The admission cracked something in her mother, who hugged her tightly, whispering, "I don't understand, but you're my daughter." It was a fragile bridge, but the confrontation had planted seeds of change. Driving back, Layla's thoughts raced. Was this freedom or folly? The cost, potential estrangement weighed heavy. Meeting Penelope at the cafe, Layla's eyes were red-rimmed. I told them. Dad's furious, but Mom. She's trying. Penelope's heart swelled with reluctant admiration, but her secret betrayal loomed. That's brave, Layla. They sat in uneasy alliance, discussing next steps. Penelope suggested therapy for the family, a way to navigate the societal backlash. But inside, she questioned her motives. Was this about healing or control? As they talked, a news alert buzzed. Rumors of a mayoral scandal circulating online. Penelope's stomach dropped. Her source had acted without waiting. Oh God, she murmured, showing Layla the screen. The article hinted at hidden payments, without naming sources yet. Layla's face contorted in betrayal. You did this? After I trusted you. The accusation hit like a punch. Penelope defended. You needed a push. For us, for truth. But Layla saw red. This isn't about us, it's revenge. The cafe confrontation drew stares, mirroring their internal storms. Layla stormed out, leaving Penelope alone with her choices. The moral ambiguity crushed her. Right and wrong blurred in the pursuit of authenticity. That night, Penelope lay awake, replaying the day's damages. Society demanded perfection from leaders, especially women of color in queer spaces. Had she amplified the prejudice by forcing exposure? The scandal snowballed. Media hounded Layla's office, questioning her integrity. She held a press conference, her poise cracking under scrutiny. These allegations are baseless attacks on my administration. But inside, panic reigned. Calling her husband, she confessed everything. The arrangement, her orientation. He was understanding, but the fallout threatened their mutual benefits. Penelope watched from afar, guilt mounting. Her actions had triggered a chain. Family rift, public scrutiny, potential career end. Was the greater good worth this pain? She reached out via text. I'm sorry. Let's talk. But Layla ignored it, fortifying her defenses. Days blurred into a tense standoff. Penelope faced her own repercussions. Friends distanced themselves, seeing her as the instigator. Her inner monologue tormented. You've become the villain in your own story. Society's judgment echoed in online comments, slamming both women for drama. Layla, meanwhile, weighed options. Deny or come clean. The ethical dilemma peaked at a council meeting, where opponents used the whispers to undermine her. Transparency matters, one sneered. Layla's resolve hardened. Perhaps truth was the only path left. Layla stared at her reflection in the city hall bathroom, the fluorescent lights highlighting the exhaustion in her eyes. The scandal had escalated. Leaked documents now public, courtesy of Penelope's impulsive ally. Reporters camped outside, hungry for the mayor's downfall. Inside, Layla wrestled with fury and regret. Betrayal from the woman she once loved, compounded by societal vultures circling. Why now? She muttered, thinking of the progress at stake. Bills for queer youth protections hanging in the balance. Coming out publicly could salvage her authenticity, but invite more attacks. The moral trade-off loomed. Personal truth versus public service. Penelope, holed up in her apartment, scrolled through hate-filled comments online. Traitor, homewrecker. Labels that stung, echoing her family's past rejections. Her mother's voice rang in her head. Why can't you just be normal? The pressure had driven her to this extreme, but now doubt flooded in. Was exposing Layla a righteous act or selfish vengeance? She pondered the broader implications. In a society rife with homophobia, forcing someone out could reinforce stereotypes of instability. Yet, hiding perpetuated the lie that queer love was shameful. Penelope decided to confront the fallout head-on, driving to City Hall amid the media frenzy. Spotting Penelope in the crowd, Layla's security ushered her inside for a private meeting. The room crackled with tension. You ruined me, Layla accused, her voice breaking. Penelope met her gaze. I thought I was saving you from the lies. They dissected the betrayal, voices raw. Layla admitted her fears. Politics chews up women like us. One slip and we're done. Penelope countered with her pain. You slipped when you left me. I paid the price alone. The dialogue unearthed buried emotions. Love twisted by circumstance. Layla's inner conflict surfaced. She had sacrificed authenticity for power, but at what cost to her soul? As they talked, a aide interrupted with polls. Support dipping among conservatives, but surging in LGBTQ circles for potential honesty. It was a turning point. Layla faced a choice. Resign or own her story. Help me fix this, she pleaded to Penelope, a vulnerable olive branch. Penelope hesitated, her mind weighing the damage she'd caused. Agreeing meant complicity in the cover-up. Refusing meant more destruction. Only if you come out on your terms. The pact formed, fragile but binding. They drafted a statement, navigating the ethical minefield. Reveal the relationship without sensationalism. Frame the payments as missteps in protecting privacy. The press conference was electric. Layla stepped to the podium, Penelope watching from the wings. Today I address the rumors. Yes, I've made payments to protect personal matters. But more importantly, I've hidden a part of myself. I'm gay. My marriage is an arrangement and my past love, with a woman named Penelope, was real. Gasps rippled through the room. Layla's voice steadied. I fought for equality while fearing judgment. No more. The admission was cathartic, but the backlash was swift. Protests from religious groups, praise from activists. Her parents called her mother tearful. We're proud, Mija. Scared but proud. The family healing began. Tentative steps amid societal noise. Penelope felt a mix of relief and remorse. Her actions had forced this, but the cost Layla's vulnerability exposed was steep. Online debates raged. Was forced outing ethical? Penelope's inner voice questioned. Did the ends justify the means? As Layla wrapped up thanking supporters, their eyes met. A silent acknowledgement of the shared scars. But trust was fractured. Rebuilding would take time. Penelope slipped away, pondering her role in the chaos. Society's progress came at personal prices, often paid by those least equipped. Weeks passed in a whirlwind. Layla's approval ratings rebounded, her authenticity resonating with voters. She pushed harder for reforms, channeling pain into policy. But privately, the toll mounted: therapy sessions unpacking trauma, mending family ties. Penelope, meanwhile, found solace in photography, capturing stories of queer resilience. They met sporadically, conversations laced with caution. Do you regret it? Penelope asked once. Layla sighed. Regret hiding? Yes. Regret loving you? Never. The words mended some wounds, but the betrayal lingered. A pivotal confrontation arose when a conservative rival sued over the payments, dragging Penelope into court as a witness. Testifying, she faced Layla across the room, the moral stakes high. Did you leak to expose hypocrisy? The lawyer probed. Penelope's response. To expose truth. The trial highlighted societal divides. Witnesses debating privacy versus accountability. Layla's defense hinged on her growth. I was wrong to hide, but I've changed. The judge ruled in her favor, but the victory felt hollow. Post-trial, Layla and Penelope shared a quiet dinner in a secluded restaurant. The city's hum a distant backdrop. The air was thick with unresolved tension. We both paid dearly, Layla said, her eyes searching Penelope's. Family rifts, public scrutiny, the price of truth. Penelope nodded, her mind reflecting on the journey. From alley desperation to courtroom drama, each step a testament to their entangled fates. Inside, she grappled with the aftermath. Friends lost, self-doubt amplified. Society's gaze had intensified, labeling them as symbols rather than people. Was it worth it? She whispered. Layla leaned in, vulnerability raw. For progress? Yes. For us? I'm not sure. They dissected the moral ambiguities. Penelope's betrayal as a catalyst for change, Layla's initial deception as self-preservation. You forced my hand, Layla admitted. But without it, I'd still be hiding. Penelope confessed her regrets. I hurt you to heal myself. Selfish. The dialogue flowed, honest and tense, revealing depths of character forged in fire. Layla's ambition had clashed with her heart, leading to choices that damaged those she loved. Penelope's pain had fueled vengeance, blurring lines between justice and retribution. As dessert arrived, Layla's phone buzzed, a family text. Come home soon. We miss you. Healing had begun, her parents attending pride events tentatively. Penelope envied it. Her own family remained distant, the societal divide too wide. You've got a second chance, she said. Layla reached for her hand. We both do. If we choose it. The moment hung charged with possibility. But trust rebuilt slowly. Past damages whispered cautions. Penelope's inner thoughts swirled. Could love survive such trials? Society often romanticized resilience, but the scars were real. Months later, Layla's re-election campaign thrived on her story. Authenticity as a platform. Penelope volunteered, channeling energy into advocacy. They navigated public appearances carefully, their relationship a private sanctuary amid scrutiny. Conflicts arose. A tabloid exposé on their past, forcing another confrontation. They twist everything, Penelope fumed. Layla calmed her. We control our narrative now. The partnership strengthened, each paying the price of vulnerability, lost privacy but gained freedom. Yet doubts persisted. Penelope questioned the ethics of their journey in quiet moments. Had manipulation been necessary? Layla pondered if power corrupted, her decisions haunting her. A community event brought climax. Protesters accused Layla of opportunism. Facing them, she declared, "My path was flawed, but my commitment is real." Penelope stood by, pride mixing with reflection. The event underscored the societal drama, progress amid backlash. In the end, their story became a beacon, inspiring others to confront hidden truths. But personal costs lingered. Strained friendships, emotional exhaustion. As they walked hand in hand through LA's streets, once shadowed by secrets, now lit by acceptance, Penelope turned to Layla. Do you think we did right? Layla smiled faintly. Right is subjective. We survived. The tale closes on a note of awakening. Each woman forever changed by the choices and their consequences. But one question lingers, sparking debate. Was Penelope justified in her betrayal to force truth, or did it cross an unforgivable line in the name of love?